Hey, everybody. It's your girl Barbie J here, and I am back with another one of Tyler Perry's comedy dramas. This one is The Oval, Season 4, Episode 14, Know Your Place. Another ho-hum episode, we all know, but before we get started, I'm going to try to make this episode as fun as possible, but I'm asking you now, for those of you who haven't subscribed to my channel, please take a moment now and subscribe. I have learned that like almost 80% of you who come to my channel have not subscribed. So if you could subscribe and help my channel grow, I would appreciate it. And then when you hit the notification bell, select all, and it'll let you know every time I upload a new video, so you don't have to go looking for me. It'll automatically tell you, and you could come back to my channel and check out what I am doing. Okay, I would appreciate it. Then I ask that you hit that thumbs up button, the like button, and write a comment so I know you there and that you're appreciating what I am trying to do, which is trying to make this daggone show sound like it was something or maybe even funny. All right, so let's get started. So it starts with Lily in the hospital still telling the officer Helen that it's a knife wound and not a gunshot wound. I said, she is really dipsy. Isn't she, y'all? He tells her that this is a doggone hospital. They know the difference between a damn gunshot wound and a knife wound. So he feels that, maybe it's that she's in a domestic violence situation, or she may have tried to harm herself in some way. So they were detaining her and holding her. So then she's trying to leave, Lily trying to leave with the damn gown on, and I think she asked for her clothes maybe. And the officer is restraining her, and they end up on the floor, and then the doctor runs in and gives her a shot of something. I forgot what it was. And then the officer, he handcuffs her to the bed. Then it switches over to Sharon in the pharmacy, and she done looked up the name Tyrone Luckett. When did she learn that name? Did that Rackaducci man say something about Tyrone Luckett? I don't know where the heck that's coming from out of the air, TP. Maybe I missed it. Somebody let me know down in the comment section, but I swear it wasn't me. Anyway, so she shows Dale a picture of him on her cell phone, and Dale says, yeah, that's the one they call the highest. How you know so much about it, Dale, if you wasn't on that compound? You heard about them, but how would you know? Anyway, then she tells him to come with her to Nancy and Richard's house, and Dale doesn't want to go there because he feels like he's a stray cat. And, going from here, he'd rather sleep in his truck. Okay, that sounds real stupid. Anyway, then Sharon gets a call from Barry, but when she answered, no one was there. So she tries to call him back, lets it ring 2 times, y'all, and says, he's not answering. Girl, let it ring until it goes to freaking voicemail. That was dumb. So she's calling Mr. Richard and tells him what happened. And Mr. Richard said that he would call, Barry himself. So she said, okay, she'll meet him at the house. Back at the hospital, we have the doctor talking to Lily and asking her to please tell the officer what happened to her, but she refuses to do something. He tells her that he gave her something to sedate her, because she was like, what did you do to me? What did you do to me? Anyway, he lets her know that they're just trying to, help her. And she said, you can't help me. So he asked the officer to come back in. What's his name? Officer Heller or whatever. And when the officer came back in, Lily said, please let me go home. And he said, where? To the chief of staff? I said, oh, see, my friend Ty told me, how come nobody recognized her and know who she is? And so he let her know that he did recognize her and that he is there to help her. And she let him know that the person who shot her will kill anyone he cares about and loves. And he's like, are you going to do it? She said, no, I'm not going to do it. That person is. And Lily warns him that he is about to ruin his own life. I had to cut that part short because it made me nauseous. Anyway, we have Jason, who was getting tired and stuff, but then starts asking Alan, how was having sex with his girlfriend? How was it? And Alan's like, what? He asked him, what, you a virgin or something? Jason's like, no. Jason might not even sniff the coochie, Anyway. Alan said, do you know what it feels like if you're not a virgin? And Jason wanted to know, do they all feel the same and stuff? And Alan wasn't trying to hear him. So Jason tells Alan he wants to have sex with a woman and to get him a hooker. And of course, Alan said, no, that ain't about to happen. And he says that his dad does it all the time. And Alan goes on and then says, don't you think that's sick? And Jason didn't like that at all. And he put the gun in Alan's neck and threatened to kill him, talking about, I'm not sick, I said, Alan, you got to watch your words with nuts like them. He little cray-cray. He's cray-cray, Alan. So then Alonzo comes to the door, banging on the door and says, I need to speak with you, Alan. I need to speak to you. It's important. You haven't been answering your phone. So Alan tells him, it's not a good time, that he's in there with Maria and to come back another time. And he's like, Maria? He said, okay. He said, I'm sorry. And he leaves. So Jason asked Alan, who's Maria? And he said, oh, just some name I made up so that he'll leave. Then we have Kyle. He's at the gym. He gets a call from Agent Kane, and he has info on what Sam was doing on the computer. He lets Kyle know that Sam was looking at a car and a license plate and at doorbell cameras, and Agent Kane sent the info to Kyle, who's at the moment, he's at the gym waiting to box or fight it out with Max, and Kyle looks at the info and then calls Donald to fill him in on the new info he's received. But then Donald tells Kyle to get on it and to find this kid. He stated that Jason has already died once and he can't be dying twice. So to me, that meant you need to kill him. I think that's what it meant. Y'all let me know down in the comment section if that's what it meant to you, but that's what it meant to me. So, and one other thing, Kyle informed Donald that he's at the gym waiting on Max so that he could whoop his ass. I said, oh, shoot. I was like, oh, it's about to be on now. So they hangs up and he hangs up with Donald, and then Max arrives at the gym with Bobby Baby. Bobby Baby. He was looking good too. Bobby in the dark chocolate sun was looking good. So Max gets into the ring and they about to box. But Kyle wants to talk first. And this was funny because Max doesn't want to hear jack. He don't want to talk. And Kyle says his little few words like, don't take it personal. I was just doing my job. And then he asks if they're going to, set any ground rules. And Max was like, no. Then Kyle said, what about a referee? Max is like, no. And I'm like, I'll be honest, I'm looking at their bodies and stuff, and I'm like, damn, neither of them really look buff to me. None of them had a nice, some abs. They ain't have no ripped abs, I'll be honest. But maybe I saw wrong, but that's what my glasses saw. But I'd really like to have seen Bobby in that ring. Bobby Baby with his shirt off in the doggone ring. Yes. Ow. Anyway, then Kyle says on the count of 3, he said on the count of 3 we'll start. So he counts to 1 and Max knocked him the freak out, knocked him down on 1 punch. And Kyle, wait a minute, I'm laughing. I'm sorry. Ooh, y'all, my throat is as dry as this episode was. Anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, so he said a count of 3. And by the time he counted 1, Max just knocked Kyle down to the ground with 1 punch. And Kyle gets up and they start boxing and Max is going crazy. He gets Kyle on the floor and starts choking him. He get him in one of them wrestling moves and he's choking him. And they twisting around on the floor, rolling over, and he all of a sudden is still, and he's still choking him, and Kyle is like going like slowly dying, and Bobby had to jump into the ring and stop Max from killing Kyle. And he yells at Bobby, what are you doing? Get off of me. Shout, he tried to kill me. And so Max and Bobby, they start arguing with each other and they face to face, nose to nose. I said, I hope they breath smell okay, because that made me uncomfortable just looking at that. Oof. Anyway, so Bobby tells him, man, it's done. It's over. Look at him. And we see Kyle on the floor, motionless, body not moving. So Bobby goes over there and checks his pulse, and Max gets mad and leaves all pissed off. And then Bobby looks down at Kyle and said, I bet it on you, fool. I said, no, he didn't even bet on Max. He bet it on Kyle. Then Kyle got up, still smiling and barely standing. And he's like kind of like wobbly. And he says, are we going for a second round, Max? Or round 2? And I said, this man is a fool. He a fool. Then we got Hunter. He enters his bedroom and Victoria's in the bed. And she asks him who is getting him his drugs these days, because she can tell that he's been using. Then they get into a back and forth banter that was just a useless scene to me. It was boring. Then out of nowhere, Hunter says something about, what would she do with a corny ass man like the VP? And she was like, why would you say that? And he's like, why? Did that hit a nerve or something? But she had just mentioned if she don't even remember, she mentioned something about liking the excitement of being with Hunter, or whatever, the drama that comes along with it. So that's why he compared himself to the boring VP. That's all. Anyway, speaking of the boring VP, Eli's in the bed having sex with Simone when his phone rings and he tells her it's the president calling. So he goes into the bathroom and takes the call, and it's Victoria. Then he turns on the water, hoping, it would drown out his words so Simone can't hear. Then Victoria tells him what Hunter said about them, and he was like, Hunter doesn't know. We've been very, quiet about this, so there's no way he can know about us. So then we got Simone. You see her. She's listening to the door and can hear Eli talking to Victoria. So Victoria asks him, where is he? And he says he's in the bathroom. And she said, oh, that biatch is listening. And he says, nah, she's not like that. Victoria told Eli he doesn't know about women at all. Then asked him to talk dirty to her. He's like, she's in the next room and will get suspicious if you keep calling here like this. Then she said, don't you have me in your phone as Hunter? And he's like, yes. He said, so we should be okay. So Eli said, you want me to talk dirty to you and you think she's in the next room listening. That doesn't make any damn sense. So he said, I'll call you later, and said, I love you. I said, ooh, no, he did. Well, Simone heard Eli tell Victoria that he loved her. So she when he walked out of the bathroom and wanted to continue, and Simone said the moment is lost. And I was like, uh-oh. So then she no longer wanted to have sex, and she was saying that nothing is wrong. And Eli asked, what's going on? Did I do something? She's like, no, I'm just tired. And Eli was like, asked her if she heard his call. And she said, no. Why would you ask that? And he said, because you're acting strange. So she tells him that she just finds it strange that Hunter would call him when he was so mad when they were at the White House. And Eli agreed. So she tells him to handle his business, and she's going to bed. Then he tries to kiss her goodnight, and she turns her head so that he can't even kiss her on her cheek. Not her mouth, not her cheek. I said, oh, sugar, honey, sister, the girl is mad. So anyway, to me, I feel she made it too easy for him to notice that something is definitely wrong all of a sudden. And that was probably, and that she probably heard his conversation. Because if she would have just kept it cool, I'm not even saying having the sex, but she could have kept it cool. Why did you tell him you love him and then you don't want him to kiss you goodnight? You said it to him. He said it back. Let him kiss you and keep it moving, girl. How you supposed to find out the dirt if you already acting like there's a problem? Anywho, and now we have Sir Donald at home sitting on the couch, and he summoned the Secret Service guy and asked him, where is his wife? And the agent said, oh, she drove herself to the hospital. I was dying. Donald was like, what? He was pissed. Then Donald asked, which hospital? And the agent said, I don't know. I was like, how did you know where his wife is going? Donald asked him a few more questions and made a phone call to Lily and left her message. It's your loving husband, darling. I hope you're not at the hospital. Then he told the agent to call his replacement because he's sending him to Siberia. The agent's like, excuse me, sir? He said, do it. He's pissed. Now we have Priscilla arriving at the restaurant to meet with BarbiJBroxton, and he pulls out her chair to sit down, and she was slamming in that leather outfit. She was looking real good, and Bobby was taking it all in, honey. So Priscilla calls over the waiter and orders a shot of tequila, and Bobby's like, oh, that's what we doing? And he said, I guess I'll get me one too. And she said, yep, that's what we doing. And he tries to hand Priscilla a menu. And she said, oh, we won't be needing these. And he said, okay, because I did order some appetizers. So Bobby's like, oh, so you don't want to talk about this first? I mean, what are we doing? And she said, don't you want to sleep with me? And he said, yeah, hell yeah. He was like, then let's have these drinks and appetizers and go back to my place. So Priscilla explains to Bobby that she has been faithful to her husband all of these years and doesn't want to do it anymore. And Bobby was like, you just decided that so quick? And she said, I sure did. So then he goes and she tells him he went and slept with a whore. So if he can do it, then so can I. And Bobby's like, hold up, baby. So I'm a whore now? And well, according to Sam, you are. But anyway, so she apologized and said, no, not you. He said, oh, okay. Then he told her that he doesn't want her to do something that she'll regret. And she said, are you trying to tell me that you're bad in bed? And Bobby said, oh, no. Baby, Bobby knows exactly what he's doing. She said, well, then that's great. And I'll have no regrets. I was like, oh, tell him Bobby, baby. Talk about Bobby, the third person. I love when he does that. Anyway, then Priscilla told him that she didn't come there to be talking about Sam or her marriage. So can we discuss something else? And he said, sure. So she asked him, how big is his ding-a-ling-a-ling? And he was shocked and then told her that she would be very happy. I was like, oh, as both of them threw back them shots, they were like, poof, okay, for the happy. Yes. So all of a sudden, Sam shows up at that moment and asked Priscilla, is this what you're doing? And he told Bobby that he needs to go. She's like, he's not going anywhere. He said, Bobby, get the F up from the table. And he threw a napkin at him. And Priscilla said, he's not going anywhere. And Bobby said he wasn't leaving either. I said, oh, damn, Sam. It ain't going to work. You better get David. He was supposed to get David to kick his butt, I thought. Didn't we say that? Well, maybe that's going to happen afterwards. So anyway, Sam tells Priscilla that if she does this, she will regret it. And she said, no, I won't. And he tells her, you don't want to do this. You're just trying to get back at me. And he told Bobby he's too stupid to see it. And Bobby said, oh, I'm stupid? So Priscilla's just annoyed that Sam won't leave. So she tells Bobby, let's just skip the drinks and get out of here now. Sam said, you're not leaving here with him, Priscilla. You're not leaving. But she does after Bobby throws money on the table and tells Sam to buy himself something nice. I said, wow. I guess Bobby doesn't mind being used for sex. I guess he doesn't. He did say he was horny last week, didn't he, y'all? And then it ends with Richard. He calls and Sam says it's not a good time and that he'll call him back. And Richard is pissed off saying that this is about your godson. He said, I'll call you back. So Alan wants to take a shower and Jason wants to go with him to keep an eye on him. Alan says, you got this gun pointing at me in the right hand and you got my phone. And I was wondering why he yelled out in the right hand. That made no sense to me until the end. And he said, I can't go anywhere or call anyone. So he asked Jason to please put down the gun. And Jason finally does so that Alan will talk to him. And Alonzo is behind him with a gun at his head and said, don't you move. Now I'm trying to figure out how the heck did Alonzo get into Alan's apartment. As far as we know, Alan didn't have a back door to his apartment. Maybe he had a fire escape or something that Alonzo crawled up. But I guess when he said, I'm here with Maria, that was a code. Anyway, that was it. And it ended with Richard coming home and he opens the door and goes through his dining room and there's Nancy. Looks like she done joined the Raccaducci cult. She's in the living room with 4 Raccaducci women around her and they're all wrapped in their the burgundy garment that they wear. I said, what the Harry heck went on here? What is going on? It made no sense whatsoever, y'all. So anyway, that's how it ended. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I'm sorry the review was so long, but it was just so much craziness. I had to tell y'all about it because you wouldn't believe it if you didn't hear it. Anyway, it's your girl Barbie J saying peace.